Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, friends, and welcome to our coverage of the ECL Elite Division right here on twitch.tv/SportsGamerGG. My name is Brandon B. Major Bigsby, and we are back with more ECL action, week number 4. I know the time is absolutely flying. We're already at the halfway point of the regular season, and we've got a pair of really fun series ready for you guys today. Firstly, we'll be covering vNexs versus Mustaa Kultaa, two teams that are right in that playoff mix. And then last but not least, we will be going and seeing Heimo going up against Blackbirds, two teams that are outside of that top 8 looking to make their way into that left side of the table. But before we look at these two teams on the bottom of your screen specifically, take a quick look at the standings and show you how things are shaped up heading into the new week. And as you can see, Mustaa Kultaa holding on to that number 1 spot, 14-4-2, 42 total points. Granted, they have played a total of 20 games. Last Dance just 3 points behind them with 4 games in hand. So you have to assume that that's more than likely going to change hands unless Last Dance lose all 4 of those games. You also have Parasite right behind them with just 18 games played. But nevertheless, Mustaa Kultaa, as of now, holding on to that number 1 spot. Really, the top 4, most of the teams that you would probably expect to see, other than maybe Mythics. Mythics, a team that's been around that 5 to 6 range over the last couple of seasons. Totally at this number 6 spot, maybe a little bit lower than you would expect. But really, it goes from about 6 all the way down is where things get really, really interesting. You see SSK Esports holding on to a playoff spot, a team that is in their first Elite Division season. Really, no one probably outside of that locker room expected them to be in a playoff spot at this point of the season. Here they are, not even in the last playoff spot, but holding on to that number 7 spot with the potential to move up even further. Goons in a really good position right now. Granted, 22 games played, more than anyone, but holding on to that number 5 spot. Exen holding on to the last playoff spot at 25 points, and there is a litany of teams behind them. Polsky Boys, vNexs, Blackbirds, Heimo, and Onsei Esports. Really the teams that are currently in the thick of the playoff race, while you have Vapor, the Blackjacks, and Nova that are currently holding on to those bottom 3 spots. Nova and the Blackjacks have plenty of games left to play, but are going to need to string some wins together to really put themselves into serious playoff contention. But the teams we'll be focusing on today, as you can see, 3 of them over on the right side of that board at 10, 11, and 12 in the thick of that playoff hunt, while you have Mustaa Kultaa, the number 1 team in the Elite Division that we will be seeing here in just a matter of moments. And speaking of Mustaa Kultaa, let's take a closer look at both them and vNexs. And as you can see, the stats between these two, relatively comparable, maybe a little bit surprising considering the gap between the two teams in the standings. vNexs sitting at the number 10 spot, while Mustaa Kultaa sitting at number 11. But it's interesting. vNexs actually averaging a slightly higher goals for per game average, but Mustaa Kultaa dominating on the defensive end. A 0.8 difference, actually, in terms of the goals allowed for Mustaa Kultaa compared to vNexs. They have one of the better goals allowed averages in the division, number 1, only ahead of Parasite. So it's been interesting to see Mustaa Kultaa continue to step up, continue to look good on their own end, despite the offense being rather comparable to a team like vNexs. Both of these two teams right towards the middle of the table at number 7 and number 8. 2 power plays that have struggled, but again, 2 penalty kills that have been rather solid. Despite that, vNexs is actually coming in with the number 1 penalty kill percentage in the division. So going to be a lot of fun to see these two teams are kind of strength versus strength, weakness versus weakness, facing off against one another here today. As we'll transition over to the starting lineups for both of these two teams. Starting out with vNexs. Over on the left side, the forward trio, Anton Lund at the left wing, Antonio Manin at center, and Papin at right wing, while the defensive pair will be Onbergs at left defense and Svamp at right defense, while in between the pipes in goal is Scumbu. While the lineup for Mustaa Kultaa, this is the first time that we have really gotten to look at Mustaa Kultaa on broadcast this season. A bit of a different looking lineup than what we've seen. Bobby at the left wing, he transferred over from Mythics a week ago. Now it's the starting left wing for this Mustaa Kultaa side. Launade at center, Alupekas at right wing, while back on defense it'll be Nari Yamal and Mise, and in between the pipes will be Carlson Adam, who transferred over from Unwanted over the offseason. So a couple of new faces for Mustaa Kultaa this season compared to what we saw from this finals team, the runner-up in the Elite Division a season ago. It'll be fun to see how this group continues to gel. It's been looking good for them so far throughout the season. Let's take it position by position now, starting out with the centers as Antonio Manin going up against Launade, two familiar names within the Elite Division over the past couple of seasons. And as you can see, Antonio Manin, another solid season, 31 points in 16 games, just a hair under a 2-point per game average. Has scored a little bit, but has been a good play driver for this team as well. While for Launade, just the 22 points in his 18 games played, but again, Launade is somebody that has stepped up in the past. It's proven that he can really come in and make plays. Has been so solid for this Mustaa Kultaa team, despite maybe the point tally not being what it was a season or two ago at 54 points in the 28 games he's played. Will be fun to watch. Two really solid centers in action here today. Now sliding over to the wingers, and we mentioned it for Mustaa Kultaa. Bobby coming in for this Mustaa Kultaa side originally was playing with was originally with Mythics last season, transferred over from Exon actually earlier this season, and has played 8 games with this Mustaa Kultaa team, has been absolutely phenomenal. In his 8 games, 18 total points, 16 goals. He has been such a key addition to this team over the last couple of weeks, has really stepped in and played well. You see the total stats. Most of those have come with Mustaa Kultaa, despite only half of those games being with his current team. Has slotted really well with Alupekas over on those winger spots. So it'll be fun to see those two in action together for the first time here on broadcast. While Anton Lund and Papin have both been really solid as well, both producing. It's interesting to see the assists really being so balanced across the forward trio of vNexs. All 3 of them, really kind of having 14, 13, 12 goals, but the assists all being near the 20. So it goes to show you this is a team in vNexs that likes to share the love. You can't just look out for 1 or 2 players. All of these forwards get in on the scoring. Both Papin and Anton Lund have been a big part of that so far this season. So it'll be fun to see a really balanced forward trio go up against this Mustaa Kultaa side that has been one of the better defenses in the league so far. And speaking of defense, let's take a closer look at the defensive pairings for both these two teams. And we talked about Mustaa Kultaa being a defense that has been the best in the league, that 1.8 goals against average, being tops in the division so far. I think that the number one thing that will stand out to you in terms of stats is what Mise has been doing. 29 points and 28 assists in the 20 games he's played. Also 111 hits. He has been throwing the body around. I mean, doubling his teammate, doubling both of the defenders over on the side of vNexs. He has been such an instrumental piece to this Mustaa Kultaa side. It'll be fun to watch him in action and see what he can do. As a matter of fact, he is second in the league for defensemen in terms of hits. So it'll be fun to see him throw the body around here a bit today. While over on the other side, Onbergs and Svamp. Onbergs, a rookie for this vNexs team. Someone I think that despite the stats, really has been one of the more impressive rookies so far throughout this season. So we'll get to see him in action today with a defender in Svamp, who, again, the stats might not blow your mind, 6 points in 16 games, but a really solid defender. Both of them just really steady. They can step up and make plays when they need to. Experienced right defender to go with a rookie right defender. A really fun duo that, I mean, again, I think it's been a little bit underrated this season. I like this vNexs pairing. It'll be fun to see them go up against Mustaa Kultaa on the other end. And then last but not least, we will have the goaltenders. Scumbu on the left side for vNexs, Mustaa Kultaa on the right side for Carlson Adam. And, you know, again, two really high-end goaltenders, an 85 save percentage for Scumbu and 86 for Carlson Adam. Both of them have really, really stepped up this season. And you can see the save percentages, the record, rather indicative for Scumbu. It's interesting. The losses have been a little bit higher maybe than what you would think for the stats that he has put up, but has played 14 games. Carlson Adam playing the 8 is him and vNexs has split time. vNexs has played the other 12, but again, two really, really good goaltenders on both sides. I think we can see a little goaltender battle. We've seen a few of those throughout the season where goalies have really stolen the show and have given us a lot of those 2-1, 3-2 type of score lines. It wouldn't surprise me to see two more results of that here today, especially with Scumbu and Carlson Adam being two guys that really have stepped up on multiple accounts this season. So we're just a few moments away from getting things underway between vNexs and Mustaa Kultaa. As before we do get the games underway, we want to make sure to remind you once again of our ECL 25 Spring 1v1 signups being out now. Make sure you go to sportsgamer.gg. We've got all the information for that. As again, you have the 1v1, you can win a nice little €1,500 prize pool on the line if you win. But if you don't want to be too competitive, that's okay. We have another option for you, our 1v1 chill tournament, where it's a much more relaxed competition. You can play just a little bit more friendly. There's no prize pool on the line, just good vibes and a fun time. So if you want to make sure to be there for that, go to sportsgamer.gg. We've got our signups. We have all the information ready to go for you right there. As, again, have to give a quick shout out as well to our friends over at Game Changer. If you go to gamechangerofficial.fi, you can get a discount with using the code SportsGamer10. They have all types of amazing stuff for immunity boost, for performance, for relaxation, for anything that you need. Make sure you go to gamechangerofficial.fi. You use that code SportsGamer10 at checkout. You can get a nice little discount on your purchase. They have amazing products over there. And again, over at WellNet as well, health.sportsgamer.gg. Use the code SportsGamer1 and you get a 1-month free trial. They have a ton of amazing exercises that you can use just from the comfort of your home. A ton of options, especially for gamers, as you can see during the commercials that we have between intermissions. So they have a ton of amazing options there. You use that code SportsGamer1 and get a 1-month free trial. A big thank you again to both Game Changer and WellNet for their support of us here at the ECL and at SportsGamer. As you can see, both teams are ready to go as Mustaa Kultaa facing off against vNexs. We will be watching from the perspective of Mustaa Kultaa in their all-black home uniforms, while vNexs is in their cream road whites. I like that color, a little different from the typical road uniforms that we would see around the league, as we are ready to go and underway as vNexs currently in possession. They get in the offensive zone. A shot in the slot and they score! Antonio Manning wasting no time. And just a minute in, vNexs get on the board, a 1-0 lead. Here we are, just getting ourselves settled, and vNexs gets right on the score sheet, puts that top right shelf right over the left shoulder of Carlson Adam. And vNexs with the quick start. Just 65 seconds into this one, so Mustaa Kultaa looking for some answers quick. It's a tie-up face-off. Finds Onbergs for vNexs. As another shot, glove saved by Carlson Adam. And he'll hold on for the whistle. Nexus. As another shot, glove saved by Carlson Adam, firing away to start out this game, and they've got another chance. A shot from the point saved by Carlson Adam. Another one, this time was saved again, but off of the mask. As Mustaa Kultaa finally breaking into the offensive zone, the shot from the point saved this time by Scumbu, as Mise let that one rip. Offensive face-off now coming up for Mustaa Kultaa to the left side of Scumbu. Tied up and found by vNexs. Omberg skated it up, and a tripping penalty going to be called as Anton Lund will draw that one, and Mise will head to the box. Well, power play upcoming here for vNexs. We talked about the power play. Both these two sides rather struggling to start the season, but two strong penalty kills. Mustaa Kultaa an 80% penalty kill. vNexs at 15.38% on the power play. Both these teams towards the bottom in the league on the man advantage. So we'll see if vNexs can change their fortunes here. Mustaa Kultaa immediately slapped that one away. Force vNexs try to establish their way into the offensive zone. Anton Lund with it, shot on, saved by Carlson Adam, and they'll hold on and freeze. 1:14 to go here on this man advantage. Face off to the right side of the defensive zone of Mustaa Kultaa. vNexs with full pressure now. Onbergs up to Manin. Couldn't get much on the shot, but they get it back. Anton Lund skating with it. Back to the point to Onbergs. Shot blocked in front. Trying to pass that across there was Papin, but not able to connect. And vNexs still pressuring here. But just 10 seconds to go on the power play. Not much action in terms of shots. Another shot there, however. Was saved by Carlson Adam. Back to even strength. vNexs working back into the offensive zone. Anton Lund tried to pass it across, but nobody home, and Mustaa Kultaa now looking to counterattack. Not much offensive pressure so far for them. As a slap shot there on the pass from Mise, saved by Scumbu. Another chance, another shot. Another save there from Scumbu. That was Bobby in front. vNexs pick things up. Svamp slaps it in the offensive zone, but it's picked up by Mustaa Kultaa and called for an icing. Offensive zone face-off won by Mustaa Kultaa. Working it back as Nur Yamal is a shot in front and found by Scumbu. So another face-off now coming up and in the offensive zone for Mustaa Kultaa. Defensive zone face-off won by vNexs. Turned over in the neutral zone, however, and here comes Mustaa Kultaa as Alipeka's trying to skate past, but not enough room, and now vNexs will pick up. Big hit there from Nur Yamal to disrupt that play. Mise skating forward. Turning at the left point, but nothing there to him. Nur Yamal will now pick it up in the neutral zone. Alipeka's with it right boards, but an offside called. It's a hair behind Bobby over at that left side. The offensive zone now is Mustaa Kultaa. Puck loose, found by Nur Yamal at the left point. Over to Bobby. Bobby evading pressure and goes to Alipeka's, looking for something, but a nice job from Anton Lund to disrupt that play. Zombergs has it and gives it up. Finds his way back to Anton Lund. Tony Manin had it for a second, but a nice job from Mustaa Kultaa to bump him off that puck. Take over possession, 5.5 to play here in period number 1. vNexs a 1-0 lead after that goal, 65 seconds in. Have it now in the offensive zone. Anton Lund with it. Poke checked off of that puck there, but gets it back. Skate in there. That was Anton Lund trying to make something happen, but poke checked away, and here come Mustaa Kultaa down the other end. In the offensive zone, shot from the point, swept away by Scumbu. Laundonnet with it over to Alipeka. Tried to give it back to Laundonnet. He gets it back, shot on it, squeaks in! Alipeka will get credit for the goal. And Mustaa Kultaa tie this thing up at 1 apiece as you get another look at it. Shot at 5-hole, and it just squeaked its way past Gumbu. And Mustaa Kultaa tie this thing up at 1 apiece, exactly what the doctor ordered. Mustaa Kultaa trying to push again there, but vNexs take over possession. Less than 2 minutes now to go in the first period, tied at 1. Antonio Manning got the opening goal for vNexs, while you just saw Alupekas with the goal for Mustaa Kultaa. Neutral zone face-off now. Oh, Loudonay jumped a little bit early, so vNexs will win that face-off. Antonio Manning not going to complain about that, but it's turned over. Loudonay with it. Shot on the one-timer. Saved by Scumbu. Puck loose over at the side of the net and found by Onbergs. vNexs with one last rush. Anton Lund holding it at the boards. Shot from the point. Saved by Carlson Adam, and the buzzer will sound. That will do it for period number 1. And as we close the opening 20 minutes, tied at 1. vNexs with that first goal just 65 seconds in. Antonio Manning with that quick goal to start things out. And we got a bit of a stalemate for a little bit until Alupekas was able to break the scoring there. A little under 5 minutes to go. And that first period there's the tying goal right there. Just put that shot on net. It's off the side of the pad of Scumbu, and Mustaa Kultaa able to tie things up. As you can see the stats there. So even across the board. 6-6 in shots. Both teams a little bit over 2 minutes of time on attack. You get a look at both goals there as well as closer look at the game tying one. Yeah, just hit off of that inner left pad of Scumbu. An unfortunate break there for him. Nevertheless, leads us to a 1-1 score. We get set to get underway for the second period here. We want to thank our amazing sponsors, Kovan Lakadisi, Game Changer, as well as WellNet for their support of the ECL and SportsGamer. Mustaa Kultaa have possession. Arya Mall with it, moving it up to Bobby. Finds its way back to Mise. Over on the one-timer to Bobby, saved by Scumbu. Arya Mall takes possession, and Mustaa Kultaa dumps in the offensive zone. Puck given chase and found by vNexs. Anton Lund with it on the pass from Antonio Manning. Behind the net. Shot on, hits the side of the net. Puck found by Anton Lund that time, but turned over, and here comes Mustaa Kultaa down the other end. Bobby over to Alupekas. Shot on, blockered away by Scumbu. Dives out to get that puck that was loose in front. Looked like Hungry Hippo on that one, but nevertheless, he'll hold on and freeze it. As you see the big hit there taken, that was Papine who was controlling that puck and shot it on the side of the net. Took quite the lick after. It's an offensive faceoff coming up now for Mustaa Kultaa. One back to Arya Mall, but he wasn't able to pick that puck up, so that'll force a reset here. Mise now with it. Tried to give it over to Alupekas, but found by Loudonay. To Mise at the point. Skates forward and now back, looking for space or a pass for a shot. Alupekas gets it, but turned over. vNexs takes over possession. 14 minutes to go here in period number 2, still tied at 1. Bobby has it at the left point, turning and looking, but nothing there for him. Here comes vNexs down the other end. At the left boards, puck battled for and found by Mustaa Kultaa for a second, but eventually goes to vNexs. On the left side, Papine controlling it. It was over to Anton Lund, puts on a move, but disrupted by Nari Yamal. But vNexs end up getting it back, a 3-on-2. As a shot blocked in front, puck still loose, found by Laudonnet for Mustaa Kultaa. Here comes Bobby, moving up the left side. Back to Nari Yamal, but turned over in front of the net. vNexs take over possession halfway through this game. Still knotted up here at one apiece. Pekka's with it, but lost it there. Nice defensive play there made by vNexs as slap shot on the other end will lead to an icing with 8:58 to go here in the second period. Face off to the right of Scumbu on the offensive zone of Mustaa Kultaa. One back, Bobby to Nari Yamal. They're working it at that left side. They're able to get it back after the turnover. Nari Yamal at the point. One-time shot there from Pekkas was blocked. Gets it back, however. Nari Yamal holding it at the point. Gates forward, looking for space. Over at the corner, pressured and turned over. Nice defense there from vNexs as now they counterattack. The shot on goes wide from Onbergs. It's cool to pick up possession. Pekka's over at the left side. Finds Bobby. Bobby looking. Shot hits the post. Gets it back behind the net, however, and Mustaa Kultaa still operating. Nari Yamal to Bobby, trying to get a quick play in front, but it was picked off. And here comes vNexs down the other end. Nari Yamal controlling it and giving it up to Bobby. Bobby at the left boards. Get some space. In front, they score! Laudonnet gives Mustaa Kultaa the lead in the latter stages of the second period. As you get another look at it, that shot from the point from Bobby, who is kind of camped out there, just rips that one on net. Laudonnet in front to get that tip, beats Scumbu, blocker side. And Mustaa Kultaa, again, nearly at the same exact time that they scored in the first period. Gorf just minutes to go here in period number one. Excuse me, period number two. vNexs now looking for an answer to respond. They have possession in the neutral zone, but an offside's called. 3:11 to go here in the second. vNexs in control after the turnover from Mustaa Kultaa in the neutral zone. Looking for some space to operate right now. Anton Lund controls it over at the right corner. Turned over, but found behind the net by Anton Lund. Vamp at the point, shot tipped in front, but brushed away by Carlson Adam. vNexs still looking. The corner was Papine. Wrap around attempt there. Saved by Carlson Adam. Puck loose at the side. Found by Mustaa Kultaa. We get it all the way up to Pekkas for a breakaway, but time will expire before it becomes any danger. It's a 2-1 Mustaa Kultaa lead after 40 minutes of play. Been late period goals have been the story for Mustaa Kultaa. The goal from Pekkas late in the first, and then this goal right here from Laudonnet in the latter minutes of the second period gives Mustaa Kultaa that 1-goal lead. The stats still as tight as ever. 9-8 in shots. Just about a minute separating these two in terms of time on attack. Only one penalty taken so far. That was from Mise, but vNexs is not able to do anything with that power play. Only really 1 or 2 shots. And neither led to a goal. Get things ready to go for the third period. Big 3 points on the line. Mustaa Kultaa holding on to the number 1 spot in the division. vNexs came into the day in 10th, just outside of a playoff spot. Mustaa Kultaa Had it in the offensive end, but get it back. Oh, quick shot there from Laundere, gloved by Scumbu. That was an odd angle right at the boards, but Scumbu was alert and ready. A breakaway here. Oh, poke check from behind by Nariyamal. What a denial by the left defender of Mustaa Kultaa. Nariyamal doing a good job there, saving the day, potentially keeping the lead for Mustaa Kultaa intact, as they have possession now with Mise over at the left point. Trying to find some space. Finds its way to Alupekas now. Poke checked away. And here comes vNexs down the other end. Goes behind the net. As a shot from the point blocked in front. That was Onbergs who let that one rip. Mustaa Kultaa now on the counterattack. Bobby controlling it. Puts on a move, trying to find some space. Poke check from behind by Papine. The puck will go all the way down the other end and will force Mustaa Kultaa to reset. 6 minutes through this third period. Mustaa Kultaa holding on to their 1-goal lead. Have had a couple of scares. Looking for an answer there, but a save on the cross crease by Scumbu. And he'll hold on the freeze. Offensive zone face-off coming up now for Mustaa Kultaa. vNexs take possession. Working down the offensive end. The point for the Onbergs. Trying to go to Antonio Mann in the slot, but was picked off. Here comes Bobby with speed. Has a man with him. Nice spin move. Pass across. Puck loose. And found by vNexs right in front of Scumbu. Dumped into the offensive zone, but found by Mise. And now Mustaa Kultaa with speed and with numbers. Bobby looking, puts on a move, shot on, gloved by Scumbu, who will hold on and freeze it. Third period almost halfway gone. 10-17 to play. Mustaa Kultaa just clinging on to that 1-goal lead. vNexs have given them a couple of scares, but they have it in the offensive zone right now. There's a shot from Nariyamal, saved by Scumbu, and he'll freeze it again, so we'll re-rack and do the offensive zone face-off all over again. And it looks like vNexs is going to take some time and call a timeout here. See 4 shots on net already for Mustaa Kultaa in this period, as that cross-crease attempt over to Alupekas on the right side was the best chance of the period for Mustaa Kultaa. Denied by Scumbu, able to just get enough of that glove out. Feel like this next goal could be so huge for either side. Does vNexs tie it, or does Mustaa Kultaa double their lead? Face off one in the offensive zone by Mustaa Kultaa. Nariyamal at the left point, skates forward with it, has some space, goes behind the net to Laundere. Up to Mise at the right point now. Back to Laundere at the right corner, but a penalty going to be called against vNexs. Onbergs will head to the box. It was on that hit right there. And Mustaa Kultaa will head on the power play for the first time. Interference to call, 2 minutes. And a massive opportunity now for Mustaa Kultaa with the lead and the man advantage. Just over 15% on the power play this season. vNexs, the #1 penalty kill in the league at over 93%. Nariyamal. One-time shot and they score! Bobby puts it in. And Mustaa Kultaa find a crack in the armor of this vNexs penalty kill. And double their lead to 2. As you get a look there, the 1T ability showing off there a little bit. And Mustaa Kultaa with a much-needed goal to double their lead. vNexs down by a pair now with less than 8 minutes to go. They're in the offensive zone, however. Shot from the point. Blocked in front, still pressuring, however. Onberg at the point, shot blocked. He was found by Anton Lund, but shot wide. One-timer saved by Carlson Adam. Another shot gloved away this time by Carlson Adam, and it will hold on for the whistle. Back-to-back saves by the young Swede, keeping his team up by 2. Offensive zone face-off for vNexs. One in the defensive zone by Mustaa Kultaa, and they'll get out of their own end. On the rush, Bobby with it. Checked away, but recovered over at the left corner. Back down low to Alupekas. Goes to Mise at the corner. From behind by Anton Lund, and here comes vNexs down the other end. They're going to have to act quickly here, down by 2, just over 4 minutes now to play. There's a shot there on the pass from the corner. What they're doing is an offsides now called. Mustaa Kultaa trying to counter on the rush. Neutral zone face-off. Won by vNexs. With Antonio Mann, pass across there, disrupted by Mustaa Kultaa, but a penalty going to be called, and vNexs will have a power play coming up. As you see, Scumbu goes to the bench, so the extra attacker now out as Kultaa will touch up. And a big power play here upcoming for vNexs as Alupekas will head to the box. That extra poke check right there will be what draws it. A tripping call. Going to give vNexs that man advantage. 0 for 1 so far on the game. vNexs with a massive opportunity. Down by 2 goals. It's over 2 minutes to play, and they have the power play, but Mustaa Kultaa immediately clear it out after the faceoff. Onbergs will take it up. Antonio Mann. Happy. Hines on one. Poke checked away in the offensive zone. Now force a reset. Out there defensively by Mustaa Kultaa. As a one-time shot saved by Carlson Adam. Another shot, another save. Carlson Adams stepping up here in the latter stages, holding on to this 2-goal lead. Another shot, and you guessed it, another save by Carlson Adam. He'll hold on and freeze it, and the timeout here going to be called by Mustaa Kultaa, looking to catch their breath. How about the multiple saves there by Carlson Adam on the penalty kill? As you see, the one-time goal from Bobby that looks like it actually got bumped in by a defender. The save initially made from Scumbu, but some contact bumps that puck past the red line, and that was the goal that gave Mustaa Kultaa a 3-1 lead. But vNexs trying to spark a bit of a comeback on the power play with just 52 seconds remaining. They got their work cut out for them, however. Nice clear from Mustaa Kultaa, and vNexs looking to get back into the offensive zone. They do. Shot from the point, blocked in front there by Laudonnet. Another chance there. That shot finds the glove of Carlson Adam, who will freeze it with 36.1 seconds remaining. Another face-off upcoming. To the right of Carlson Adam. Won by vNexs. As a shot blocked in front. Puck loose. Another shot, this one from the point, goes over the net. As Mise will clear this one out. 22 seconds remaining. As Alupekas about to make his way out of the box, and we are now back to even strength. As a shot from the point, saved by Carlson Adam. Mustaa Kultaa with possession. Alupekas with it, 7 seconds to go. One-time shot saved by Scumbu. As the dying seconds here, and that will do it. Mustaa Kultaa with a 3-1 victory. They hold vNexs scoreless for about 58 minutes and 55 seconds. It was a goal just 1minute and 5 seconds in from vNexs, but they were not able to find another for the rest of the game. Mustaa Kultaa with 3 unanswered. And a 3-1 victory for the #1 team in the division. Gapping their lead in that #1 spot just a little bit further. They pick up a big 3 points in this one. They now look forward to game number 2 of this series. A win for Mustaa Kultaa, and give Carlson Adam a lot of the credit. Multiple huge saves there, especially in the third period, as vNexs really got the better of Mustaa Kultaa in that third period of play. Not a lot of offense for Mustaa Kultaa outside of that power play, but they were able to get the 1 goal they needed. Actually, 1 goal for each period. And 1 for each forward. Alupekas with the opening goal, Launane with the second. And then Bobby with that third goal to really put things away. As a 3-1 Mustaa Kultaa victory. See both goalies phenomenal. An 80 save percentage for Scumbu, 92% for Carlson Adam. As we will bring you back into the booth. Brandon B. Mage of Bigsby with you as a 3-1 win once again for Mustaa Kultaa. They pick up a big 3 points in the standings as we'll get set for game number 2 between these two sides. But before we do that, we're going to take a short break, hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more action between vNexs and Mustaa Kultaa on the other side.
Welcome to the SportsGamer Health and Performance Program. Nice to have you here. Here you have a large amount of different workouts from Wellnet, but also material just exclusive for you gamers. In your sessions, we focus mostly on neck and shoulder mobility, back health, and concentration. So give it a try and let us know what you think about it.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Thank you for sticking with us. We are back and ready to go as game number 2 between Mustaa Kultaa and vNexs is ready to get underway. Once again, we are watching from the perspective of Mustaa Kultaa wearing their white uniforms while vNexs in their home reds as we are underway for game number 2. Mustaa Kultaa with possession right now. Alupeka's had it there for a second, but picked up and picked off there by Svamp. Turned over in the neutral zone, and now Mustaa Kultaa with it. But lost almost immediately, as that time it was the defender. And Svamp once again was able to pick that up. Antonio Mannen with it. Goes over to Pappy. Shot from the point from Svamp. Saved there by Carlson Adam. Puck loose behind the net. As Anton Lund with the shot, saved from Carlson Adam. Kultaa in the offensive zone. Puck loose. Found by Alupekas. Nariamal with it at the point. Moves it up to Alupekas. Now over to Laudonay. To Mise. Nariamal with it. A quick cycle here from Mustaa Kultaa. Shot from the point from Nariamal. Locked in front. Doesn't even find Scumbu that time. Tony Amaden with the possession and giving it back to Svamp to start the breakout. Turned over there on that pass attempt, and here come Mustaa Kultaa down the other end. Turned over almost immediately. Papine moves it up to Anton Lund, gives it back. Papine with it. Shot from the point from Onbers. Another chance there. Another save from Carlson Adam. He's been busy this first few minutes. Already 4 saves on 4 shots. Approaching 11.5 to go here in period number 1. vNexs with the majority of attacking time so far. And here they go yet again. Papine with it. Shot was not an officially registered shot, but was almost dangerous as Carlson Adam was able to keep it out. vNexs in control yet again. Anton Lund with it on the pass from Antonio Mannen. Shot on from Antonio Mannen was saved. Loose in front and it goes in! It was a pass attempt from Anton Lund, but it found its way past Carlson Adam. And vNexs with the opening goal. As you see once again, that it caught me off guard there too. It was supposed to be a pass there across. But a broken play leads to a goal. And it was right as vNexs had full pressure. They had gotten a couple of opportunities. They had constantly been in the offensive zone. It felt like maybe a goal was going to come sooner rather than later for them. You didn't expect it to be like that, however. A 1-0 lead for vNexs. A shot and a save from Carlson Adam right after the faceoff. Carlson Adam will hold on and freeze it. Already 7 shots on net for vNexs here in this first period. None so far for Mustaa Kultaa. As it looks like vNexs actually will go ahead and take the timeout here. A little surprising to see that. As it looks like we might potentially have an issue here in game. And yes, that is what it is. So we will bring things back into the booth. Boy, I know vNexs hates to see that. They were really, really rolling there. 7 shots to none, as we had just mentioned, and already a 1-0 lead. I actually just went back and looked at the stats. vNexs had 13 shots in all of game number 1, so they've already gotten past the halfway point, and we're not even 10 minutes in to this second game. So we'll take a quick break. We'll get things set here as vNexs with a 1-0 lead. A bit of a connection issue there as we'll have to wait for teams to get things reset to make sure we are all good and ready to go. So do not go away. We'll have the rest of this game on the other side. vNexs holding on to a 1-0 lead. Be right back after the break.
Welcome to the SportsGamer Health and Performance Program. Nice to have you here. Here you have a large amount of different workouts from Wellnet, but also material just exclusive for you gamers. In your sessions, we focus mostly on neck and shoulder mobility, back health, and concentration. So give it a try and let us know what you think about it.
All right, we are back and ready to go. Thank you all for staying patient with us as, once again, vNexs with a 1-0 lead. This is the first period. The two teams were generous enough to give us that one goal back to make the, the representation of what the original game was. So real period, real score, everything you see on your screen is accurate to where we left off. So nothing has changed. 1-0 vNexs. A little bit over 5 minutes to go now in the first period as a shot on was saved by Carlton Adam. 8 shots now on net in total for this vNexs side as a shot there from Laudonay is gloved by Scumbu. That's the first shot of the day, or rather of this game for Mustaa Kultaa. Being game number 2 between these two sides is, if you weren't with us a little bit earlier or if you don't remember, Mustaa Kultaa won game number 1, 3-1. This is our second game of our coverage here today, as we'll have our second series between Heimo and Blackbirds at the conclusion of this one. An offensive zone face-off from Mustaa Kultaa. Found by Bobby. To the point to Nari Yamal. They're working it over at that left side. Yamal turning, looking for space. Skates it in, shot on. Saved by Scumbu and found by Svamp. Turned over, however, and Mustaa Kultaa still looking to push. Papine, however, creates the turnover, and here comes Anton Lund for vNexs. Spin move back, and shot may score! Anton Lund put it on the moves, and vNexs double their lead to 2. How about the gold helmet wearer showing you why he's got it on? The leading point getter for this vNexs team gets his 15th goal of the season, and he does it in style. What a play there, putting them on spin cycle. And vNexs with a 2-0 advantage over Mustaa Kultaa. And the number 1 team in the division with their backs against the wall early. Is Papine looking for another shot, but it was blocked in front. vNexs, a great response after that tough game 1 loss, but still lots of time left as Mustaa Kultaa working down the opposite end. Now Nate finds and gives it to Mise. Shot on there on the pass over to Bobby was saved by Scumbu and held. 43.9 seconds to play. Offensive zone face-off now coming up for Mustaa Kultaa to the left side of Scumbu. One back to Nari Yamal. Shot on the one-timer from Alupekas was saved. An offside called immediately after as Bobby had gotten that puck, but it crossed the blue line. 20.7 seconds remaining. Mustaa Kultaa win that neutral zone face-off and move it back into the offensive zone. Shot on from Alupekas was blocked in front. And here comes vNexs, turned over on that pass attempt. And that will do it for period number 1. A stellar period for vNexs. 2 goals. And a dominant way to get this game started, despite the stoppage and all. 9 total shots on net compared to just 4 from Mustaa Kultaa. Two of them leading the goals. As we take another look at this beautiful move there, Anton Lund. With the spin, with the backhand, Carlson Adam not able to make the save. And that's just the skill of this elite division. That's a quality defender back there. They got beat. We talked about the defense of Mustaa Kultaa, Naryamal, and Mise, leading the #1 defense in the division right now. Mustaa Kultaa only allowing 1.8 goals against per game. But they just got beat by a better move on that one by Anton Lund, as vNexs have that 2-0 lead, as we're getting a nice look from way up top. All the way near the banners. As if I knew what was happening, I promise I'd tell you. This has been an interesting game, folks, but nevertheless, I have a feeling that this might be going potentially to another stoppage, unless there's something missing on our side. As it looks like we did potentially have a game issue. Unless we're getting a sneak peek of a new camera angle, potentially. Maybe a little sneak peek of something from NHL 26. We got our stanchion angle all the way up from in the banners. So I'm gonna take it that this is probably gonna lead to another restart more than likely. So we'll bring it back into the booth again, ladies and gentlemen. I am so sorry. I know we cannot seem to get a flow for the second game. Unfortunately, it's the circumstances that we have been presented, but that's okay. We appreciate you guys being patient with us. We appreciate our two teams and our players dealing through with all this. I know they want to get things underway, hard to get into a rhythm. We have these constant stoppages. Just kind of unfortunate that, it's the circumstances that we deal with when we sign up for this sometimes. But we'll push through. It's going to be all good. Period number 2 upcoming, vNexs with a 2-0 lead, as we'll get things set here in just a few minutes. I feel kind of bad taking things back into a break after we just had 10-minute stoppage. So let's take a quick look at the standings, actually. Let's see if we've had anything change. I know there's a couple other series going on right now outside of the series that we are covering. And as you can see, Mustaa Kultaa, they did get that win a little bit earlier. I know it might be easy to maybe forget. It's been about 20 minutes since that game wrapped up. They do have a 6-point gap right now over Last Dance, but Last Dance with those 5 games in hand. And you see vNexs over on the right side of the board. This 2-0 lead, very significant for them. You see 24 points right now. If they pick up 3, they'd go into a tie with SSK Esports for that number 7 spot. It would vault them all the way over to that left side of the board. That would be a big result for them, one that they could use. How about the Blackjacks and Vapor getting a few results in from the looks of it? I'm going to try to look and see here and see who that was against and potentially what happened. But the Blackjacks, they had 10 games played a little bit earlier. Now they're all the way up to 13. So we've had some results fall in throughout the division. So not the only action going on is on our broadcast. We're having a few other series find their way trickling in as well. I'd say Esports with a game played. Always kind of fun to see how the standings can shift and change a little bit, as it was actually Vapor that the Blackjacks had played against earlier, a 3-2 win over Vapor, which is a pretty big result because you see those two are currently tied in the standings. So one more game upcoming between those two, I'm sure, over the next few minutes, while Nova still sitting at those 10 games played. They'll have a lot of opportunities to find their way into some points, but obviously you're going to have to capitalize on those opportunities with so many series still yet to come. As it looks like the teams are getting things reset, as looks like we'll be ready here in just about 20 to 30 seconds here. So good thing we didn't go into a break, and that gives us the time to give some of our amazing sponsors that quick shout. You saw it there for a second. health.sportsgamer.gg. Use the code SportsGamer1 for a 1-month free trial over at Wellnet. They have all kinds of amazing exercises, some that are specifically curtailed to us gamers. So you can exercise all from the convenience of your phone. So awesome that they give you that 1-month free trial. So make sure you take advantage of that. Go to health.sportsgamer.gg make sure to show them the same support that they show us. A big thank you to WellNet for their support of SportsGamer and of the ECL. So third time's the charm, folks. Let's try it again. We're getting ready to go. This will be period number 2. They're not going to waste through the time and everything, understandably so. So we'll say period number 1 on your screen, but this is the second period. vNexs is holding a 2-0 lead. As this is the second game of our 4-game coverage here today, we will have Heimo versus Blackbirds at the conclusion of this series. But business to take care of first here as we are back underway with period number 2 as vNexs is moving it into the offensive end. Papine with it, got bumped off of that puck, but Mustaa Kultaa able to take possession. vNexs is now with it as they try to break it in. The offensive zone over at the corner board is Antonio Madden. But turned over, and here comes Mustaa Kultaa down the other end. Alupeka's with it. That's a shot in front. Another shot, and they score! Bobby on the second chance effort cuts that lead in half. It's a 2-1 advantage now for vNexs. Mustaa Kultaa start out the second period with a quick response. As you get another look at it there, that puck just hanging on that right post. Bobby able to find it. Puts it in the back of the net. So vNexs see their lead cut in half, 2-1. Mustaa Kultaa with the exact response that they were looking for, and they might not be done as Alupekas gives it up over to Launenay. Turned over, however, and now vNexs take over possession. Antonio Madden with it. Gives it to Anton Lund's shot. Up the side by Carlson Adam. And Alupekas had possession for a second, but that stretch pass was picked off. Anton Lund on the pass from Antonio Madden, bumped off of that puck, and here comes Mustaa Kultaa down the other end. Alupeka's controlling it, tried to pass it back, but it's turned over. Papine picks that one off, and vNexs is now rushing down the opposite side. Bumped off of that puck, however, was Antonio Madden, and Mise starts to break out for Mustaa Kultaa. Mise with it over at Alupeka's. One-timer was saved. And here comes vNexs down the other end. Papine controlling it. The attempt was a little bit off, and now force a reset. Svamp tried to pass it down the middle, but it's turned over. As a shot there from Alupeka's blockered away by Scumbu. Nariamal at the point. One-time shot by Mise was saved. Mustaa Kultaa still pushing. Bobby with it the left corner over to Nariamal. Back to Bobby. Trying to look for an option, but nothing there. And Mustaa Kultaa will have to reset in the neutral zone. They get it past the blue line. Mise passed across, picked off there by Antonio Madden, and here comes vNexs 2-on-2. Anton Lund with it, but the pass across was poked and turned over. Over halfway through this game, 8.5 to play in period number 2. vNexs holding on to a 1-goal advantage. They have possession now, Papine with it, but Nariamal takes that puck away, and then Mustaa Kultaa trying to counterattack, but an offside called as Alupeka's was a little bit ahead of Launenay on that break-in attempt. 7:21 to go. Here in the second period, neutral zone face-off now coming up. Face-off one back to the defense of vNexs. Svamp controlling it. Now over to Onbergs. In the neutral zone. Found Antonio Madden, but an offside called. Neutral zone face-off. Papine gets in. A tripping penalty going to be called against Mustaa Kultaa, so a power play coming up now for vNexs. They were 0 for 2 in game number 1. Struggling on the power play this season. Both of these two teams have. Both of them came in at just a little bit over 15% on the power play. That was the 4th and 5th lowest percentages in the division. vNexs is at 13.3% now after that first game. See if they can turn the tide here. Up by 1 with this man advantage. They win the face-off in the offensive zone. Onberg with it. Shot on from Anton Lund was saved by Carlson Adam. To the point to Svamp. Onberg with it again. Anton Lund holding it. Found by Antonio Mannon. Back to the point to Onberg. Onberg trying to give it over to Papine. Papine trying to give it back to the point, but the pass was disrupted. Mustaa Kultaa trying to clear it, but can't. Papine one-time shot to Anton Lund. Blocked in front. 40 seconds to go on this power play. Another shot and they score! Vamp from the point puts it in the back of the net. And vNexs capitalize on the power play and extend their lead back to 2. We talked about the power play struggles from vNexs. 0 for 2 in that first game, just over 13% on the season. You felt like they needed to find an answer with Mustaa Kultaa starting to find their rhythm. They do so right there. And a 3-1 advantage now in favor of vNexs. Just 3.5 to go here in the second period. Mustaa Kultaa looking for a response as Bobby trying to force his way down the middle, but not able to get anything off. vNexs with it, a breakaway here for Anton Lund. Poke checked away, gets it back. Another shot blocked in front. Nice defense from Naryamal, saving the day on that one. He has possession, gives over to Alapekas. Now to Bobby, shot blocked in front, picked up by Onbergs, who will start the breakout. Less than a minute to go. And Tom Lund with it at the boards. Cross pass picked up, however, by Naryamal. Mise over to Alupekas. Mise finds it again there at the point. Draws a penalty, a tripping penalty going to be called against Anton Lund for vNexs. So a power play now coming up for Mustaa Kultaa. They had a power play in their first game and did capitalize on it. We're 1 for 1. 4 seconds to go here in the second period, but barring a quick goal, Mustaa Kultaa gonna have a power play opportunity. That's the face-off won by vNexs, and that will do it for the second frame. A goal for each side, but it's vNexs holding on to their 2-goal advantage, a 3-1 lead. It was this power play goal from Svamp that gave them that third goal. One-timer from the point, letting it rip and beating Carlson Adam over on that glove side. And if you get a look at the stats there from the second period, again, relatively even. That's been the story throughout most of the series. We've really only seen 1 or 2 periods where one team has had a significant advantage over the other. vNexs with the clear advantage in period number 1 and in period number 3 probably of that first game as well. But the rest of this game has been pretty even, pretty back and forth throughout the series. Mustaa Kultaa going to need to find a little bit of their own advantage here heading into our third and final period of regulation to find themselves down by a pair. We want to thank our sponsors, Covalon Occupancy, Game Changer, and WellNet for their generous support of the SportsGamer and ECL communities as we're underway for the third and final period of regulation. As a potential breakaway here, this is Antonio Mannon. Nice move, and he scores! A shorthanded goal for vNexs. And in the blink of an eye, they extend their lead to 3. As you take another look at it, we see that little cut move used very often to create that extra bit of space. You see the wingers use that often. Antonio Mann in the center, but was in more of a wing position, skating down the boards rather than towards the middle. Uses that L2 move, gets that extra bit of space, is able to beat Carlson Adam. And vNexs is short-handed, able to get on the board again, a 4-1 lead. Mustaa Kultaa in dire straits, and they find a response in a matter of seconds. Bobby with his second goal of the game. We've talked about the acquisition of Bobby, played with Mythics last season, transferred to Exit over the offseason, and then a week ago, made the move from Exit over to Mustaa Kultaa. And he has proven to be such an addition for this team. 3 goals today, his second of this game. And Mustaa Kultaa a perfect 2 for 2 on the power play in this series. Trims that lead back to 2. 4-2 now your score. Mustaa Kultaa have possession here. It's almost an own goal from Scumbu. He was trying to pass it out. It hit the post. I've never seen a goalie score on themselves, but that would have almost happened. That was very close, and you see vNexs in the chat even having a little fun with that one. Because that was about as scary as it gets for them. As they now have possession in the offensive zone, but a poke check away. Nice defensive play there made by Nari Amal. Here comes Mustaa Kultaa down the other end. Nisei's pass over to Bobby was disrupted. vNexs now on the counterattack. Papine giving it back to Onberg. Off that puck. And now here come Mustaa Kultaa. Lupekas. Pass in front. Puck loose. Bobby controlling it behind the net now. Shot on. Saved by Scumbu. vNexs looking to get it out, and they do. Anton Lund with it. Over to Antonio Manning. Shot. Saved by Carlson Adam. Not going to take any chances. He freezes it with 14:15 to go in the third period. vNexs holding on to their 2-goal lead, and they have an offensive zone faceoff now coming up. The Kultaa wins in their own end. Naria Ball controlling it, but an offsides call, not able to get organized there on that breakout. Neutral zone faceoff coming up. Tied up, but found by vNexs. Turned over immediately, however, as Naria Ball takes it, but picked off on that pass attempt by Anton Lund. vNexs time on their side. You wonder if they maybe start to milk that clock out a little bit. There's a shot on there from Mustaa Kultaa, was blocked in front. Still in possession, however. Another shot tipped off the post. A near chance for Mustaa Kultaa, and here comes vNexs down the other end. Anton Lund pass across, but nobody home. And it's turned over. Naria Mall controlling it, left boards. One-time shot, blocked in front by Onberg. Another shot, another block. That one goes in, though, in front. Launenay will get credit for the goal. And Mustaa Kultaa cut the lead down to 1 now. So a chaotic possession leads to Launenay just kind of sweeping that in front under Scumbu. And Mustaa Kultaa, from down by 3 not too long ago to only being down by 1, a 4-3 score, with still half of this period left to go. So we're not done yet here. Mustaa Kultaa with back-to-back goals. They have found an answer. And are looking for at least one more to tie. 9:40 to play here in the third period. vNexs is in possession. Anton Lund had it. Puck loose and found by Mustaa Kultaa. Turned over, however. Anton Lund, Antonio Manning now with it. Gives it over to Papine. Goes behind the net. Nobody there to pick it up, however, and now Mustaa Kultaa rushing down the other end. Alupeka's controlling it. Pass across. Doesn't find a man, and vNexs is now with possession. Anton Lund gets it on the pass from Antonio Mannon. Controlling it, gives it to Papine. Spinning backhand, doesn't find the net. Turned over. Kulta with possession. Nice little move from Bobby, but can't get a shot on. Gets it back at the corner. The point is Naria Mall. Looking for space. Over to Bobby. Shot. Hits the mask of Scumbu. vNexs is looking to get it out. They will clear it. And an icing going to be called. 4:52 remaining here in regulation. An offensive zone face-off coming up from Mustaa Kultaa, who find themselves down by 1. Looking for the tying answer. To the left of Scumbu. Found by Mustaa Kultaa, battled for at the corner. But eventually found by Antonio Mannon. Anton Lund now with it. Turned over. Bobby with speed down the middle. Working with Laundene, but not able to connect for a shot. Under 3 minutes to go now. Naria Mall with it under duress and turned over. Papine looking. Gets it past the blue line, just dumps that in. Approaching 90 seconds. Remember, this is in-game the second period, but this is really the third period. Mustaa Kultaa not going to get the benefit of that last full minute of play as a shot hits the post. Another chance, puck loose in front, found by Anton Lund for vNexs. 30 seconds now. Mustaa Kultaa get the turnover. Misei at the point, lost. Papine with it. 5 seconds to go. Papine bumped from behind. Last chance for Mustaa Kultaa. Alupekas with a shot blocked in front. And vNexs, it got scary for them in that third period, but they will hold on a 4-3 victory to split the series with Mustaa Kultaa. So each side collect 3 points out of this one. A valiant effort from Mustaa Kultaa there in that third period. They were down by 3, got a pair of goals, but in the last 10 minutes, vNexs is just able to hold on to collect that regulation victory. A massive win for vNexs that could very well push them into the playoff picture. As we will bring you back into the booth here once again. Brandon Bigsby with you. Mustaa Kultaa and vNexs splitting their series. A 3-1 win for Mustaa Kultaa in game 1, followed by a 4-3 victory in regulation for vNexs, as we just saw. As we will get ready to get things set for our second series of our coverage here today. We've got Heimo versus Blackbirds coming up next. We're going to take a short break, hear word from our sponsors, and get things set up. Do not go away. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to the SportsGamer Health and Performance Program. Nice to have you here. Here you have a large amount of different workouts from Wellnet, but also material just exclusive for you gamers. In your sessions, we focus mostly on neck and shoulder mobility, back health, and concentration. So give it a try and let us know what you think about it.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, we are back as we get set for our second series of the evening. Heimo going up against Blackbirds. Let's take a quick look at the standings to show you just a quick glimpse of where these two teams stand heading into the series. And as you can see, critical points on the line. Blackbirds at that number 11 spot, Heimo at number 13. Only 4 points separate these two teams, and both of them, depending on where things go, could find their way into that left side of the board. And as we saw, vNexs is picking up 3 points. They're now over on that left side of the board, booting out Exxon. So critical points on the line here between two teams that are right in the thick of that playoff hunt. Going to be a lot of fun to see these two teams go head to head as we will go into our team matchup to give you a look at how these two teams have done so far heading into today. And as you can see, again, really even matchup overall. Goals for, goals against, power play, pretty much all close to each other. I mean, really the only big difference between these two has been the penalty kill percentage. Heimo at a 81% PK, one of the better numbers around the division, while Blackbirds struggling a little bit when they've been down to man, 65%. That is the second lowest percentage in the division. Only Exxon has a lower number. So kind of goes to show you that the power play, despite it not being a strength for Heimo, could be something to look out for here in this series. But everything else between the two, about as even as they come. Both have been rather solid in being able to score goals. Both have been, struggling a little bit in terms of the goals against. Heimo, they do have less games played, so they're 57 goals against, a little bit more of a knock. They have the highest goals allowed per game in the division at 3.56. So going to be interesting to watch here as, again, two teams that are rather similar to each other and are right next to each other in the standings at 11 and 12. Now let's beat the starting lineups for these two teams, as we will start out with Heimo. Over on the left side, the forward trio, Sniperty at left wing, Moja at center, and Emil at right wing. While back on defense will be Sadapoika and King of Apes. While in between the pipes will be Vamo. While for Blackbirds, the same lineup that we've seen for them a couple of times this season, the forward trio of Mayo at left wing, Ali at center, and Sopli at right wing. While back on defense will be Kabiks on the left side and Ani on the right. While in goal will be Laku. Now let's take you position by position, starting out with the centers. And we've talked about Ali a few times this season, how the stats really don't show you the contribution that he adds to this Blackbirds team. Such a good two-way center, a rookie in this division, someone that has started to kind of find his way slowly but surely. It'll be interesting to watch him go up against one of the most experienced centers in the division in Moja, a former Elite Division champion, was a staple of those tunnel vision teams that won those championships back in the ECL 23 and 24 days. Going to be interesting to see these two go head to head, especially with their numbers being relatively even to one another. So it'll be fun to see that head to head. Now we'll move over to the wingers for both of these two sides. And again, experience versus some of the new names in the division. Mayo and Sopoli being a pair of rookies. Their stats pretty even between one another. Sopoli leading this team in goals, while Mayo leading this team in assists and points. Their stats a little bit better than the pair of wingers on the left side of your screen is Sniperty and Emil. Now, obviously, a couple more games played for Blackbirds, 20 compared to 16, but even in terms of just points per game, it would be an advantage for that Blackbird side. So it'll be fun to watch these two go head to head, especially considering that, as we mentioned, Heimo defensively, a team that has struggled so far to start out this season with those goals allowed. And speaking of defense, let's talk a little bit about the defenses. again, the side on that left side, you feel like Sadapoika and King of Apes, that's a reliable pairing. Obviously, we all know King of Apes, a former Elite Division champion, was a staple of those H-Reds teams back in the day, a former defender of the season, had a hellacious start to the season, was averaging 2 points per game to start the season, has slowed down a good bit since. Well, Sadapoika right next to him has had a solid start as well, but again, it's really been the goals allowed that have been the struggle. Both of these guys are great point producers, are great offensive defensemen that have the ability to be good defensively in their own end as well, but so far the numbers have just not really supported what they're capable of. And Heimo coming in 2-8-0 in their last 10 games. On the opposite side, Kabix and Ani, again, two newer defensemen trying to find their way. They average 2.8 goals allowed per game. That's fifth highest rather in the league. So again, two defensive pairings that are trying to get the rhythm going a little bit. Gonna have to see one of these two pairings step up here today, going up against one another. And then last but not least, the starting goaltenders for each of these two teams. We've got Vamo over on the left side for Heimo and Laku on the right side for Blackbirds. Vamo, one of the staples of this Heimo team over the last few seasons. A much better goaltender than what those stats would show you, in my opinion. 77.7 save percentage. He started all 16 of Heimo's games so far. But again, one of the captains for this team, someone that has stepped up, has a plenty of Elite Division experience. I think he'll be able to step up here in this series today, while Laku proving to be one of the better goaltenders in the division in what is just his rookie season, an 83.8 save percentage. Started out the season of Onsei Esports, but the transition has been no transition for him at all. He has been absolutely stellar. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep that going here against a team that have a lot of offensive variance throughout their lineup. So let's see which two of these goaltenders can stand out here today. Sounds like our two teams are about ready to go. As while they get things set, I want to make sure to remind you of our ECL 25 Spring 1v1 tournament. If you want to get the competitive juices flowing, have a chance to potentially win some money, make sure you go to sportsgamer.gg and sign up for our ECL 25 Spring 1v1, a €1,500 prize pool, and a lot on the line. So make sure you sign up now. But if you want something a little more chilled out, a little more relaxed and less competitive, you can also join our 1v1 chill tournament where you can compete in a more relaxed environment against players of a slightly less competitive mindset. There's a prize pool there, just good vibes and fun competition. So make sure you go to sportsgamer.gg and you can sign up for either that 1v1 spring tournament or our 1v1 spring chill tournament. As you can see, both teams are ready to go and have things rolling, as we will be watching from the perspective of Blackbirds wearing their home black uniforms, while Heimo in their road whites. This is our third game of our featured coverage here today. Is can't get enough of the ECL, you can join us back right here tomorrow for our Pro Division feature. 1945 CEST, but we've got Elite Division action on our screen, and underway is Blackbirds in the offensive zone and moving it quickly. As Ali has it, gives it back to Gabix. At the point, skates forward, looking for space, and goes back to Mayo. Mayo at the left corner. One-time shot there from Sopley goes wide. Picked up by Ani at the right boards and found by Gabix. Ani at the point now. Back to Gabix, left point. Shot on, blocked in front, and found by Sopley behind the net. Looking for some space. Turning. Moves it up to Ani at the right point. Shot on, blocked in front once again. And Heimo will pick this up. And Sadapoika and King of Apes will begin to move this forward. At the point, Sadapoika. So over to Sniper D. Reverses course back to the opposite side, point to King of Apes. Bumped off of that puck, takes a big hit, and now here comes Blackbirds down the other end. Kabix with it, pass across, hits the post. First dangerous chance of the day there from Blackbirds. Collective sigh of relief on the side of Heimo. Sadapoika will dump this one in, puck given chase and found by a Heimo teammate. Turned over, however. Now here comes Blackbirds down the other end with numbers and speed, but checked away. Moja gives it over to King of Apes to move this forward. Trying to pass it up, but turned over and picked off by Kabix. And here's a breakaway from Mayo. Backhand shot hits the side of the net. And Vamo will hold on for a whistle. So a couple of chances there for Blackbirds, but not able to capitalize on either. They hit the post on that cross-crease play earlier, and then that breakaway doesn't even officially register a shot on net. As you saw Ali take a big lick there. It looks like he's got an injury that he's going to have to deal with for a few minutes. That's the centerman for Blackbirds, who will line up for the offensive zone face-off now to the right side of Vamu. Tied up and one in the defensive zone by Heimo. Sniperdy with it. Goes up to the point to Satapoika. To King of Apes. King of Apes pushing forward. That's something you'll see from him from that right D spot. One of the best offensive defensemen in the ECL. It's a shot on, saved by Laku. First registered shot of the day for either team, and we're approaching the 8-minute mark. There's a shot on there from Sopoli is saved by Vamu, so both teams now getting a shot on net. As Heimo will slow things down and begin the breakout. Turned over on that bout, or that softer pass bounce off of the boards. Blackbirds getting the offensive end. Puck loose. Found by Satapoika. King of Apes controlling it. Moves to the Moja. Moja with some space trying to push his way towards the middle, but nothing doing. And now here come Blackbirds down the other end. Mayo shot blocked. Hopefully gets it back. A shot there from Mayo doesn't connect with the puck. That would have been a rip of a one-timer. Wasn't able to do anything with it. Mayo up the left boards. Moves to the Ollie to Kabix, but an offsides call. Just a little bit off sequence there was Blackbirds on that entry. Latter stages of the first period. 3:38 to play. Scoreless so far between these two sides. Only one shot on net for either team as well. Sniperdy gets it. Picked up by Satapoika, and a penalty going to be called against Blackbirds. A tripping call going to go against Sopoli. The power play coming up here for Heimo. Talked about the special teams. Heimo, a 13% power play coming into the day. One of the lower numbers in the league, but they're going up against the league's worst penalty kill, or second worst penalty kill rather, at 65% in Blackbirds. So weakness against a weakness here. So Heimo have it in the offensive end. King of Apes moves it to Moja. Back to King of Apes. To Satapoika at the point. Satapoika looking, giving it to Moja. Puck loose over at the corner. Found by Blackbirds, who will clear this one out. It's a minute to go on this man advantage for Heimo. Still looking for something. King of Apes working it up. Finds Sniperdy, turned over. And Blackbirds once again will dump this one out. We are at the 1 minute mark. Emil gets it here. Over to King of Apes. Pass in front. Shot on. Blocked. Picked up by Sniperdy. Behind the net. Whoa! What a wraparound! Emil puts it in! And a little dab to finish it off. Heimo with a 1-0 lead. They score with just seconds remaining here in the first. As you get a look at the replay, just squeaking that wraparound through. Not often we see that wraparound end in a goal, but perfectly executed by Emil. And Heimo, strike late. 8.6 seconds remaining. Blackbirds win the neutral zone face-off, and it looks like they aren't even going to worry about trying to do anything here. Interesting strategy, but nevertheless, that'll do it for the first period. A 1-0 lead in favor of Heimo. They get that goal late on the wraparound from Emil. By a period with very few shots and opportunities between each side. There were some shots that just didn't reach on net, but ultimately it was a wraparound that breaks the scoring. Heimo with that 1-goal advantage. Oh boy. Yep. Looks like we had an in-game error, so we will bring it off of the Hughes brothers and back to us here in the studio. Brandon B. Major Bigsby with you. Heimo holding a 1-0 lead after the first period. We're going to take a quick break while they get things reset. Sorry once again, folks. We've had some struggles today with some of the syncing errors and some of the connection issues, but we will get this thing back underway in just a few moments. Thank you all for staying patient with us. We'll be right back in just a few moments.
Welcome to the SportsGamer Health and Performance Program. Nice to have you here. Here you have a large amount of different workouts from Wellnet, but also material just exclusive for you gamers. In your sessions, we focus mostly on neck and shoulder mobility, back health, and concentration. So give it a try and let us know what you think about it.
All right, we are back and ready to go. Thank you all again for remaining patient. As once again, Heimo with a 1-0 lead as they will play the first and second period as the second and third. So ignore what it says on the screen. This is the second period that we are getting underway. As Heimo got that goal from Emil on that wraparound. Kick things off on the score sheet as we're underway for period number 2. We also want to make sure that we thank our amazing sponsors, Kovan Lockridge, Game Changer, and WellNet. A big shout out to them for supporting us at SportsGamer, and everything that we do here at the ECL would not be possible without them. Blackbirds trying to get something going offensively, but turned over. The vapes with possession, getting his way forward. Gave it over to Moja, but not able to get a shot off, as now here comes Blackbirds on the other end. As a one-time shot was blocked in front. That was quite the rip there from Mayo. King of Apes gonna reset things after he didn't like what he saw in front of him. Adapoika controlling it now. For an option, goes back to King of Apes. A patient offense that Heimo plays. Doesn't lead to any reward right there, however, as Blackbirds create the turnover and now have it in the offensive zone. Ali trying to pass in front, but it was disrupted by King of Apes. They get it back, however. Mayo with a backhand shot saved by Vamu, and a power play coming up now for Blackbirds. King of Apes going to head to the box for a tripping call. You see right there. Dick just going right through the legs of Mayo. The power play now coming up here for Blackbirds. Remember, these two power plays struggled coming into the day. 11% on the power play is Blackbirds. That is last in the division. First shot was blocked in front. And to pass it across over to Sopley, finds a defender as a shot from Kabix is saved by Vamu, and Heimo will clear this out. Couple of quick chances there for Blackbirds as they speed down the offensive zone again. Ronnie to Kabix. At the point, one-timer from Sopley was blocked by his own teammate. Ronnie at the point again, trying to pass it across to Sopley, but it was picked off by Sniperty and cleared out by Heimo. 20 seconds remaining now in this man advantage. Blackbirds off the blue line, Sopley with it. Giving it over to Ani, shot blocked. As King of Apes now makes his way out of the box, and we are back to even strength. 5-on-5, 6v6 action. We count the goalies around here. And people too. There's a big hip check there, and Blackbird is trying to capitalize down the other end, but the pass was picked off by Moja. And Heimo will just reset. Halfway through this game, in the second period, is a turnover and a potential breakaway disrupted there. Nice job there from Heimo, stopping that play in its tracks. Sniper D has it. Trying to give it up to the point as a potential, another opportunity there for Mayo, but another defensive stop made by Heimo. Moja controlling it over at the right boards. Goes down low to Sniper D. Shot by the right post. Saved by Laku and held on for the stoppage. Couple of near opportunities for Blackbirds, but none leading to a goal, as they had a couple of shots get blocked on that power play. They had a couple get saved by Vamu. They had the near breakaway opportunity for Mayo, not just once, but twice there. But 3 shots and no goals to show for it. They still find themselves down by 1. This offensive zone faceoff was won by Heimo. They're working it in the offensive zone as Moja gives it up to the point. Valapueka to King of Apes. We'll just reset this here. Didn't like what he saw. Trying to pass it down the middle, but turned over. Mayo with it, looking. Has it behind the net. Shot in front was saved by Vamu. He's been solid so far. Made multiple saves throughout this game. Heimo looking to work it in the offensive zone. Bumped away from that pass as Blackbirds take over possession yet again. 5 minutes ago here in period number 2. Sopley behind the net. Moves up to the point to Ani. Gives it back to Sopley. Turned over. Asada Pueka was there to pick that up. As the puck goes all the way around the other end. And an icing going to be called. So an offensive zone faceoff coming up now here for Blackbirds. Feed to the right side of Vamo. One in the defensive zone by Heimo. They go down the opposite end. Moja with it at the corner, trying to go down low. Puck loose, scrummed for, and found by King of Apes at the point. Shot on, blocked in front. Another chance there as it was found by Laku. Looked like Kabix was struggling to really get a handle on it. Could have been dangerous, but it's averted there for Blackbirds, and Heimo will get an offensive zone faceoff now. Tied up, one in the defensive zone by Blackbirds. Mayo with some speed, trying to cut through the defender. Shot goes wide. Hopefully picked it up, but was poke checked away almost immediately. Emo controlling it, has the lone goal in this game. Pass in front, shot on, saved. Puck still loose in the corner, 40 seconds remaining. Behind the net now, up to King of Apes at the point. Pass in front, found by Ollie. Goes over to Ani now. 5 seconds to go. Sopoli at the right boards. Holding it. Trying to pass it across Kabix, but it's picked off by Emil. And that will do it for period number 2. That lone goal from the first period. Holding serve for Heimo. A 1-0 lead after 40 minutes. As again, it was the wraparound goal from Emil with just 4 seconds to go in period number 1 before we had that disconnect. And that is the goal that has made the difference here so far. Well, it's the first of 2 games between these 2 teams. We'll have one more after this to end our coverage here today. As we'll take a quick look at the stats there from that period. Again, pretty even. Only 17 seconds separating the 2 in time on attack, and Blackbirds with just 2 more shots to Heimo with that 4-2 advantage. Really, the only difference has been the hits and the passing percentage. As we get things set and ready to go for our 3rd period, final one of regulation. And shout out our sponsors once again, Covid on Lockety, Game Changer, well as WellNet. Both Game Changer and WellNet with some nice deals that you'll see popped up in the Twitch chats. Make sure you click those links, show them some support. Blackbirds working in the offensive zone. Turned over and found by Heimo as Sadapoika will take possession. Moves it up to Moja. Moja at the left boards, holding it at the corner. Looking for an option, goes behind the net, over to Sniper. Pass in front, saved by Laku. Once again, a close call there from Kabix, who had that puck in his stick on the blue paint. Offensive zone face-off coming up here for Heimo. Tied up. One in the defensive zone by Blackbirds. Puck moved up to Sopoli. Stops, turns, tried to give it back to Ani, but he wasn't past the blue line yet, so an offside going to be called. Zone face-off now coming up. It's Ollie and Moja at the dot. Tied up and won by Ani, and he's going to have to do it again because another offside called. So we'll re-rack it and do it over on the opposite side now. Zone face-off towards the left boards. One back this time by Heimo. Turned over, however, right as they tried to cross the blue line. Trying to put on a move there was Mayo, but no space for him there, and Heimo create the turnover. Anapoika with possession slows things down. King of Apes avoids the defender. Moves it up to Moja. Moja trying to pass it across the Sniper, but it's picked off. 3-on-2 here for Blackbirds. Pass off there, intended for Mayo, and a turnover. Heimo looking to counterattack. That's a potential breakaway for Emil. Spin move, shot saved by Laku, who will freeze. 13:21 to go. Heimo still just clinging on to that 1 goal. 1-0 lead for them, despite Blackbirds trying to push. Heimo will have an offensive zone face-off coming up here now. Tied up, one save there on the shot. Laku outstretching and getting it off that right pad. He'll freeze it. A dangerous chance in the blink of an eye there for Heimo. Other offensive zone face-off coming up for them now. Tied up and won by Sniper D. Behind the net, Mustaa controlling it. Shot saved by Laku right in the chest. We'll stop play once again. Musta's gotten the better of volley on these last few face-offs. If he can do it again. Tied up, won this time by Ollie in the defensive zone. A big win there for Blackbirds as Heimo is starting to get pressure, but can they get out of their own zone? It's turned over as a pass potentially across, disrupted, but they go to the point. King of Apes holding it. Full pressure for Heimo right now. Atapuerca trying to pass that across, but it goes past the blue line instead. King of Apes crosses it again. At the boards is Mustaa. Trying to give it to King of Apes, but he could not get that puck retrieved. That'll kill off the full pressure and will force Heimo to break back in. Atapuerca with it. Trying to move it down the middle to Mustaa, but turned over. As a pass over to Mayo, hits the post with the backhand shot. Kubik's at the point. Shot tipped in front, puck loose, found by Heimo. And here comes Heimo down the other end. Sniper gonna dump this all the way down. Picked up by Kubik's at the left corner. 6.5 to play here in the third and final frame as an icing going to be called. And Heimo going to get another offensive zone face-off coming up here. They're fourth in the last few minutes. To the right of Laku. One in the defensive zone by Blackbirds. Kubik's gives up to Ollie. The left boards found by Emil. Emil of some speed up the right boards. Nice job from Ani getting back. Gives it back. Trying to pass it across, but it was poked and disrupted, so Blackbirds will take possession now. 4.5 minutes to play. Blakely moves it over to the left side. Gets it back over at the corner. Pass across. Nice job there from Atapuerca to pick that one off. Emil tried to rush down the opposite end, but was stick lifted, and now Blackbirds with possession in the neutral zone. But an offside call. 3:21 remaining in the third period. Heimo up by a goal. Blackbirds have yet to get on the score sheet. And it looks like they're going to call a timeout here. So Blackbird's going to take a moment, talk through some strategy, probably get their stamina back as well. As you see the stats through 2 periods, Heimo with the majority of shots. Even gotten the increased time on attack compared to what we saw in that first period. There's a big neutral zone face-off now. Tied up and won by Blackbirds. They're in the offensive zone. Mayo at the left side. Shot on from Kubik's. Gloved away by Vamu, and he will hold on and freeze it. How good has Vamu been so far throughout this game? Can he hold serve for another 2 minutes and 30 seconds? Blackbirds pressuring in the offensive zone. Sopoli trying to pass it across, hit the pad of Vamu. And here comes Heimo down the other end, but it's broken up by Kubik's. Less than 90 seconds to play. Kubik's with room, trying to pass it in front, but no one home, and Vamu will just pick that up and hold it. 1:08 to go. Remember, this is in-game the second period, so Blackbirds will not get the benefit of that full-time last 60 seconds. So this is really more like 30 seconds. Face off, one in the defensive zone by Heimo. King of Apes with it. Lost, however, as Ani was able to get that puck off of his stick. Up to Sopoli, but turned over. Mustaa trying to kill off time. Moves to the King of Apes, who works it around. Just seconds remaining. Puck in the neutral zone, and that will do it. Heimo needed just one goal, and one goal was all it took. They knock off Blackbirds 1-0 in a regulation victory. First shutout of the season for Vamo and his Heimo team. And it wasn't always the prettiest, but he got the job done. First shutout of the season for Vamu. He had 2 last season and started all 28 games. He gets his first of the spring campaign as we'll bring you back into the booth. Heimo with a 1-0 victory over Blackbirds. As we're going to take one more break, get things set for our 4th and final game of our coverage as Heimo and Blackbirds will get things set here once again. Brandon B. Major Bigsby with you. Don't go away. We'll be right back with game number 4 right after this.
Welcome to the SportsGamer Health and Performance Program. Nice to have you here. Here you have a large amount of different workouts from Wellnet, but also material just exclusive for you gamers. In your sessions, we focus mostly on neck and shoulder mobility, back health, and concentration. So give it a try and let us know what you think about it.
jolla lakukastike maistuu parhaalta. Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Our fourth and final game is just seconds away from getting underway as Blackbirds and Heimo are set and ready to go. We are again watching from the perspective of Blackbirds in their white road uniforms, while Heimo in those nice gold and blacks on the other side. Heimo coming off of a 1-0 win in game number 1 as we are underway and ready to go. Mayo trying to find some space, kind of stopped there. That's the puck loose in front. Found by Vamu, and he'll hold on for the whistle. As Blackbirds, a team that we talked about, has a lot of inexperience going up against a Vamu-led team in Heimo that really does have a lot of experience throughout their lineup. You look at Moja, King of Apes, a pair of former Elite Division champions. Vamu, who obviously one of the captains of this team, has been around for a while. Sadapoika, Emil, Sniperty. It'll be interesting to see the response from Blackbirds here after being shut out in that first game, as save there made by Vamu. That was the first game this season where Blackbirds failed to score a goal. There's a shot on, they score! Sniperty puts it in the back of the net. And Heimo on the cross crease play take an early 1-0 lead. As we get a look at the replay, you see just the cycle there from Heimo. That's what they like to try to do. They like to try to work that puck around. They do so there from perfection, from the point to the corner to across. Finds Sniperty over at that right post and puts it in the back of the net. And Heimo with a 1-0 advantage. 5 minutes into this first period. 1 goal is all it took for them last time. See if maybe that can be the case here again. Heimo maybe not done. Sniperty had it, but it was turned over. Mayo held him up on the boards. Turned over by Blackbirds, and Heimo will just slow things down and reset. King of Apes has it. Moving it up over to Moja, but an offside's called. 13:53 to go in period number 1. Sniperty kicks off the scoring for Heimo. 1-0 lead for them. First shot leads to a goal. King of Apes controls it for Heimo. Trying to move past the defender there, but could not do so, but it's picked up at the point from Sniperty. There's a chance there. King of Apes behind the net, still with it, however. Shot on right at that left post. Laku just barely able to keep that one from going past him. An offensive zone faceoff now coming up here for Heimo. To the left of Laku. One back at the point. Shot from the point from King of Apes was saved by Laku. Puck given chase and found by King of Apes, so he'll start the breakout here for Heimo once again. Almost halfway through this first period. Sadapoika gives it up to Emil. Emil over to King of Apes, but not able to get much off as that puck hits side of the net. Still pushing, however. King of Apes moves it back. Sniperty bumped off from behind, and now Blackbirds looking to counterattack. Gabeeks with it. Holds, pass across, nobody home to pick that one up. Sadapoika will move it forward to Emil. Emil with some speed. Holding, goes behind the net, moves it back to Moja. Shot was saved by Laku. Mayo gets it up now for Blackbirds, trying to find a shot, but nothing there. Sadapoika gets it, tied up on the boards. Battle for found by Sopli. Shot on net was saved off the stick of Vamu. Another shot, another save. 2 quick chances there right in front of the net for Blackbirds. Another opportunity, another save, a second chance, and they score! Mayo puts it in! Chance after chance, and the Blackbirds finally break through. And we're tied at 1 apiece. A rebound off of his own shot. Mayo just kept on digging right in front of the net. A lot of space for him there in front. Vamu able to make the first save, but not the second. As Blackbirds tie this thing up at 1. They were held scoreless for a mighty long time, over 74 minutes nearly. They finally get on the score sheet. Mayo. His 16th goal of the season. Ties this thing up. Heimo looking to get their lead back. Snipery pass in front was blocked there by Ollie. Moves it up. Turned over, however, and King of Apes now has it. Neutral zone, looking for some space. Bumped off of that puck by Mayo. And Heimo will regain possession. Big hit there taken by Mosja. That'll be turned over, and now Blackbirds move it down the other end. Stopoli. Looking for an option, finds Mayo in front, but can't get the shot off. Now behind the net. Back to the point to Ani. One-time shot from Ollie, gloved by Vamu, and he'll hold on and freeze it. 2:12 to play here in period number 1. We are tied now at 1 apiece. A goal from Sniperty for Heimo, followed by that goal that we just saw from Mayo. Left winger for each side, getting on the score sheet. King of Apes controls it and gives it to Sadapoika. Back to King of Apes. Gives it up to Mosja. Mosja's been rather quiet throughout this game. Blackbirds now have possession. Mayo with it. Backhand shot saved by Vamu, who will freeze it with 5.7 seconds to go. Probably a little bit too much time to risk pulling the goalie here, so Blackbird's going to keep it 5-on-5. Face off to the right of Vamu. One back by Heimo in their own zone, as Sniperty will kind of slowly skate this up, and that will kill the rest of the time. A 1-1 score after the opening 20 minutes. As Heimo got the opening goal with this play right here from Snipery on that cross-crease pass to beat Laku. They weren't able to hold on to it for long as Blackbirds were able to open up their offense. They were peppering Vamu with shots. It was Mayo, the initial shot saved, but the second chance effort finds its way in the twine. It knocks this thing up after 20 minutes. As you get a look at the stats, 7-3 in shots in favor of Blackbirds. A slight advantage in terms of time on attack, but not too much, just 32 seconds. Blackbirds doing a lot more with their time in the offensive zone compared to Heimo, who again like to play that cycle game and look to open up high quality opportunities. Blackbirds is kind of taking the strategy of, hey, let's put it on net, see what happens, and they got rewarded with their 1 goal. We get set for period number 2. I want to thank our sponsors, Covenant Accuracy, Game Changer, and WellNet for their support. The ECL and SportsGamer. Blackbirds got it past the blue line momentarily, but an offside called. It's a neutral zone face-off now coming up. Tied up and 1 by Blackbirds. It's a one-timer saved by Vamu. Well, far out backhand shot gloved away, and Vamu not going to take any chances. He'll hold on for the whistle. Face-off now coming up here on the offensive zone of Blackbirds. Vamu to the left side. One in the offensive end. Shot from the point. Saved there by Vamu. Blackbirds full pressure now. Still pushing. There's a shot again. Another save. Puck loose in front. Still loose. Shot blocked. Heimo looking to avert danger. They do and clear it out. No icing called, so that will kill off the full pressure meter of Blackbirds. They worked their way back into the offensive zone. Nearly turned over, but got it back. Mayo Over to Kabik. Shot was blockered away. Blackbirds still pressuring. Sopley behind the net. Works it up the boards, but it's picked off by Sniperty. And here comes Emil now for Heimo. Gives it to King of Apes. Bumped off of that puck, and now Blackbirds taking down the other end. Sopley looking shot on, gloved inside by Vamu, who will again hold on for the whistle. 13 shots on net already for Blackbirds in this game. You go back to that game number 1. They had a total of 6 shots on net. So they have already doubled their shots in this one game alone, and we're not even halfway through. Heimo still looking to find their offensive rhythm. Just 3 shots for them so far. Blackbirds back in the offensive zone. Turned over. A nice job from Mosher there defensively to create that turnover. Poika controlling it now for Heimo. Looking for an option to pass and find Sniperty. Sniper with space. One-time shot saved by Laku. He'll hold on to it. 12:20 to go here in the second period. Tied at 1 apiece. Heimo with their best chance, their first chance of the second period. So some face-off won by Blackbirds. Ani starts the breakout. Moves it to Kabiks. Back to Ani, who skates through the middle. Finds Sopley. One shot and they score! Mayo, once again, his second of the game. And Blackbirds take their first lead of this series, 2-1 advantage over Heimo. And to get a look at it again, that shot from Mayo. Vamu just not in position to get that save, and cred the nice pass there from Sopley, creating the space. Mayo right where he needed to be and puts it in the back of the net. A 2-1 lead now for Blackbirds. You can't say they haven't earned it. 14 shots to 4 in their favor. And they're looking to push for more. We're in the offensive zone for a moment, but it's turned over. Here comes King of Apes for Heimo. At the right corner. Pass across and they score! Emil in front! Well, that didn't take long. Heimo knocked this thing back up at 2 apiece. Emil's second goal of the series, first of this game. As you see that shot right in front. Pass it across from one corner to the other, and Emil was right at that right post. Left side for Heimo. And just squeaks it in past Laku. And just like that, we are all evened up yet again. 2-2 your score at the halfway point of this game. 9:40 to go in the second period. Moja with it. Turned over. Blackbirds on the rush. Trying to pass it up to Mayo. He gets it at the corner. Bump from behind, pressured, but finds a pass behind the net to Sopley. Trying to find a shot, but nothing there. Gets the puck back. Sopley looking backhand shot. Big save made by Vamu. Heimo able to get out of their own end. Emil with speed up the right boards. Bumped off of that puck from behind. And now here comes Blackbird. Sopley with a move, but picked off there. Nice job from Sadapuika, stopping him in his tracks. 6:30 to play here in the second period. Heimo with possession. They have been tripled in shots, but they still find themselves in a tie situation, and they're going to draw a penalty. As Sniperty hit the deck, as he was tripped up there by Ani, who will head to the box for 2 minutes. And a power play now coming up for Heimo. And Heimo, a team who have struggled on the power play this season. 13% coming into the day. Face off to the right of Laku. And one in the defensive zone by Blackbirds, who were able to kill off a little bit of time, but weren't able to dump it. King of Apes with possession. So dangerous on the power play over at that high left point on your screen. As a shot in front from Moja was blocked, and it'll be cleared out by Blackbirds. Heimo forced to reset. Half of their power play now gone. Eno with it. Back to King of Apes. Looking for some space and an option. Holding it still. Moves his way forward, and a quick chance there was saved by Laku. Didn't get a shot on, but was able to work his way in front for a dangerous opportunity. So a face-off now coming up to the right side of Laku. 20 seconds to go on the Heimo man advantage. Won by Blackbirds in the defensive end. They move it up to Mayo. Cuts, looks, bump from behind, keeps it at the right corner as Ani out of the box, so we're back to even strength. Turned over as Sniper now has it for Heimo, but he loses it. Kabik's controlling it for Blackbirds in a trip right in the middle of the neutral zone. As it'll be Moja heading to the box. He got that poke check right there. Wasn't squared to Ani, who was skating through the middle. Draws a penalty. And now Blackbird's going to get their crack at the power play. Again, Blackbirds this season, 10.53% on the man advantage. Lowest percentage in the division. As Heimo able to clear it out. Heimo on the penalty kill at 82.6%. Birds work it past the blue line. Soapily to the point. Kabik's with it. Holding. Looking for an option. Pass in front and they score! Mayo! Once again puts it in the back of the net. A hat-trick goal gives Blackbirds their lead back. As we'll take another look at it here. How about the patience from Kabik's? Working that puck, waiting until something opened up, skates his way forward, had some space there, and was able to just squeeze it through to Mayo in front, who beats Vamu and gives Blackbirds their advantage back. 3-2 to score, 90 seconds to play in the second period. As a very quick icing going to be called, so Heimo will get an offensive zone faceoff coming up here. 16 shots to 5 so far in favor of Blackbirds. Heimo win the offensive zone, draws. The rip from the point from King of Apes was blocked and will go out of play. 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining, so another draw coming up here in the offensive zone for Heimo. To the left side of Laku. One in the defensive zone by Blackbirds, but they can't get it out. King of Apes pressured from behind and is going to be forced to go back into the neutral zone. 15 seconds to go. King of Apes looking. Gives it to Sadapuega, now up to Sniperty. To the middle to Moja, but a nice job from Ali breaking that play up. 1 second remaining. A shot on from Mayo was innocently saved by Vamu, and that will do it for period 2. 40 minutes down, 20 minutes to go. And the man of the hour, number 20, Mayo, with all 3 goals for Blackbirds, this one being the hat-trick goal that gave his team the lead. A 3-2 advantage for Blackbirds. We head into the final frame of regulation. As we'll get another look at the stats and the shots. That's been the story of the game. Blackbirds, they have been ripping it from anywhere and everywhere whenever they've had the chance. They've had some quality looks mixed in there as well. It's not just bad shots on net that haven't been harmful. Heimo, on the other hand, a slow-going offense. They've had some time on attack, but they've not been able to really create much with it. They've had a couple of chances here and there, but have not really tested Laku too much so far. Can that change in the final 20 minutes of regulation? We get set to start the third period. We want to thank our sponsors one more time. Kovan Lakrisi, Game Changer, and Wellnet. Blackbirds have it in the offensive zone. Pass in front to Sopley. Puck loose. Found by Vamu. We'll hold on. We talk about the implications of this game. Blackbirds are 4 points ahead of Heimo in the standings. That includes that win that we just saw from Heimo earlier. 49 points compared to 45, but Heimo have 4 games in hand. So Blackbirds have to feel like this is a must-win situation. This is their 22nd game of the season. This is a shot on net saved by Vamu. Not a lot of opportunities remaining for Blackbirds to pick up points. They'll have just 8 games remaining after this. 4 more series. So a team that are looking to keep themselves in the middle of the playoff hunt need to collect 3 points here, while Heimo looking to increase their playoff chances if they are 3-7 in their last 10 games. There's a save made from Laku over at the left post, and he'll hold on and freeze it. Nevertheless, 2 teams that desperately need points. Only one will be able to find them more than likely. Face off 1 in the offensive zone by Heimo. There's a shot on from Mosja, saved by Laku. Heimo still pushing shots, blocked in front. Here comes Mayo down the left boards for Blackbirds. Shot saved by Vamu. Couldn't get that rebound there. Blackbirds get it back in the neutral zone. And Sopley just rips that one from the neutral zone. It was saved in the chest by Vamu. It was a little bit more dangerous than you would have thought. Heimo looked to set up their breakout here. King of Apes with it. Moves it to Mosja, but turned over, and he'll have to reset. Emil gets it past the blue line. Moves to King of Apes. Pass across, picked off there by Sopley, and here come the Blackbirds with numbers, a 3-on-2. Poke checked away. Nice defensive play from Sadapueka. Mosja with possession. Over to snipery one-time shot from Emil, saved by Laku. Heimo starting to get some offense generated here. Exactly what they needed, down by 1. Got to find a way to a goal, however. Face off 1 in their own end. Blackbirds with possession. Turned over as Emil takes over. Back to King of Apes at the point. Lost and found by Sadapueka, but not before an offside's called. Approaching the halfway point of this third period. Blackbirds holding on to that 1-goal lead. Mayo with all 3 goals. King of Apes with possession. Trying to get something going, but not enough room. Here come Blackbirds down the other end. Trying to pass that back to Mayo, but couldn't get it cleanly. And now they'll have to reset and cross the blue line. They do. King of Apes poke checks that one away, and now Heimo on the opposite end, trying to make something happen. Mosja at the point, gives it to King of Apes. Back to Mosja. Mosja one-time shot over to Sniperty, but blocked in front, and here come Blackbirds, 2-on-2. Mayo with Sopley. Nice job from King of Apes, breaking that play up, past the 7-minute mark now. It's Mayo trying to cross the blue line, but Ali was a step ahead of him, and an offside's called. 6:37 to play. You're in the third and final frame. See the time of attack, just 24 seconds separating the two. 6 minutes and 13 seconds compared to 6 minutes and 37 seconds. Heimo with that slight advantage. They have the puck now. Emil with a pass across, nearly dangerous, but picked up by Blackbirds. Still pressing, however, now are Heimo as they couldn't clear it. Turned over, the pass was picked off by Mayo. Nani will slow this down. 5 minutes to go. Blackbirds looking to hold on. Slapped in the offensive zone and picked up by Sopley. Nice little move. Shot on, saved into the chest of Vamu, and he'll hold on for the whistle. Blackbirds up to 20 shots on net now in this game. Remember, they had 6 shots on net in the entirety of Game 1. Shows the difference that Blackbirds have had in terms of the adjustment they've made and their willingness to shoot the puck. Heimo with 8 so far. They had 10 in Game 1, so a similar story, a similar strategy, but the adjustments from Blackbirds have been the difference. As an icing was called and an offensive zone draw upcoming now for Heimo. Moja and Ollie at the face-off circle. One in the defensive zone by Blackbirds. Ollie with it. Pass across and they score! Sopali puts it in the back of the net. And Blackbirds double their lead to 2 in the late stages of this third period. Could that be the dagger in the heart of Heimo? It was the old-fashioned cross-crease play. As Sopali at the space, he beats Vamu on that right side. And the ECL cover gamer gives his team a 2-goal advantage. 4-2 your score, 2:38 to play. And Heimo now in deep, deep water. As Blackbirds now have possession again in the offensive zone. Turned over, however, as Moja picks off that attempt there from Ollie. Here comes Heimo down the other end. Emil with it. Up to the point. Shot on, tipped in front, but doesn't find the net. As another shot, that one hits the post. It's another chance. Oh, it squeaked its way in. I was going to say Laku saved it, but it's going to be a goal, and it's Sniperdy who will get the credit for it. His second of the game. So a rather innocent shot trickles its way in past Laku. We've seen a lot of those goals this season where it's just a shot that squeaks in 5-hole and the goalie's not able to get a good grip on the puck. That's exactly what happened there, and hold on now, the obituary of Heimo not written just yet. They cut the lead down to 1, and it's still a full 50 seconds remaining, and they have possession. King of Apes moves it past the blue line. Gives it over, shot, hits the post from Moja. Chance in front, puck battled for and found by Kabix. Gives it to Mayo, and Blackbirds move it up. Sopali with space up the right side. Has it, pass across, shot, hits the side of Vamu. A power play coming up, however, for Blackbirds as a tripping call going to go against King of Apes. And it was right there at the end of that shot. So a power play for Blackbirds, and it's going to be not just a man off, but arguably one of the catalysts to the offense of Heimo and King of Apes that will be forced to watch the rest of this one from the sidelines. Heimo are going to go ahead and call a timeout here as Blackbirds so far, as you can see, a perfect 1-for-1 on the power play in this game. We've seen shorthanded goals before. We even saw one earlier in our first series. vNexs scored a shorthanded goal against Mustaa Kultaa. Heimo going to hope for a little bit of that same magic. Down by 1, 30 seconds left. They win the face-off, and they immediately move it up. Emil with space, potential breakaway, backhand, and he scores! Emil, shorthanded, ties it for Heimo! Right when the Blackbirds thought they had him, Heimo with 2 goals in about 25 seconds. Emil splits the defenders, beats Laku backhand, and all of a sudden we're tied at 4, but the power play for Blackbirds is still alive. Face off won by Heimo. They immediately dump it. 20 seconds to go. Ani moves it up to Mayo. Mayo at the left boards. Gives it down low to Ollie. 10 seconds now behind the net to Sopali. Sopali at the corner. Gives it to Mayo. One-time shot blocked in front. Sopali gets it back. Pass in front. Well off. And we are going to overtime. Heimo salvage a point. A disaster class, however, for Blackbirds from being up by 2 with 54 seconds remaining to surrendering a potential 3 points. They secure 1, but man, that is a massive shift considering where these two teams are in the standings, and considering that Heimo looked dead in the water with less than a minute to go. But yet here they are, heading into an extra time. They secure a point, so they get at minimum 4 points out of this series. So Heimo will more than likely leave today feeling rather good about themselves. But again, we talked about it. 1 point separates these two teams in the standings. So this is a massive shift. Overtime coming up. Blackbirds on the power play. King of Vapes in the box for the next minute and 20 seconds as we are underway. We want to thank our sponsors again, COVID on Rocket Seat, Game Changer, and WellNet. As Blackbirds have it in the offensive zone. Kabik with it, trying to pass it across, but picked off by Sadapueka. They get it back, however. Kabik shot on, gloved away by Vamu. He'll hold on and freeze it. 51 seconds to go on the Blackbirds' man advantage. Face off to the left of Vamu. One by Blackbirds. Shot on! Puck close and they score! Mario in overtime wins it for Blackbirds! The man of the moment makes it happen again! His 4th goal of the game, and it's the one that wins it for Blackbirds. As we get another look at it, the initial save from Vamu, but he could not get the second. He was in that animation, and right where he needed to be, Johnny on the spot in the middle where that puck was Mayo. He had nothing but an open cage, and he buries it to give Blackbirds the overtime win. They're not going to be thrilled about surrendering that point, but nevertheless, still a massive victory for Blackbirds to keep themselves in the playoff hunt. A 5-4 overtime thriller. That was the game winner right there. He had borderline an empty net because of that animation that Vamu was in. Nothing he really could have done there. But that's the advantage of putting the puck on net and just having bodies where they need to be. That has been a key to the Blackbirds game all game long. They had multiple second chance opportunities. The first goal that Mayo scored was off of a rebound. And how about Mayo? 4 goals out of the 5 scored for Blackbirds. The other one was from Sopoli. A valiant effort from Heimo to come back from 2 down in the last minute to push us to overtime. They do steal a point, but Blackbirds with a 5-4 victory as we bring you back into the studio one final time. What a way to wrap up our broadcast coverage here today in the Elite Division. If you weren't with us earlier, we had a pair of games between vNexs and Mustaa Kultaa. Those two teams split those games evenly, both with regulation victories, so they get 3 points apiece. And as you just saw, Heimo getting 4 points out of this series, Blackbirds getting 2 with a thrilling overtime win for Blackbirds to wrap up our coverage here today. Before we wrap things up, let's take one final look at the standings. Now, the last game we just saw will not officially be in yet, but the first game between these two is officially in the book. So give Heimo an extra point, give Blackbirds 2 extra points, 23 points compared to 25. That's where things stand, as Blackbirds will actually move their way past Exton, while Heimo will be just a point shy of Polsky Boys and Exton and Blackbirds. So there's a lot that can change, a lot that can happen here over the next few hours. You see vNexs move their way over into the left side of the board. We saw vNexs and Mustaa Kultaa play a little bit earlier, each side getting 3 points. vNexs is now holding on to that final playoff spot as of now, and we have a new number 1 currently sitting as Mythics take over the number 1 spot over Mustaa Kultaa. Mustaa Kultaa was number 1 heading into the day, got the 1 regulation win, but also took a regulation loss. Mythics, however, 9-1 their last 10 games, continuing to roll, had a couple of victories against Polsky Boys, as well as 2 victories against Goons today. massive results for Mythics as they take over that number 1 spot. And Last Dance still creeping up there at that number 3 spot with 39 points, have plenty of games in hand, 6 in hand on Mustaa Kultaa, 4 in hand on Mythics. A lot to be sorted out here in the playoff picture. And, really, again, from 5 all the way down to about 13, there's a lot they can still shift. You can't count the Blackjacks out either. They had some results fall in today, as you can see. They're up to 17 points, but obviously are really going to have to go on a run to really push their way forward. A lot that's going to happen, a lot that's going to change here as we're really in playoff race now, folks. Just a couple of weeks remaining in the regular season, this being week 4. Got 2 more weeks after this. There is a lot that's going to go down, a lot that's going to shake and shift as we get closer and closer to playoff time. As our Elite Division, always a fun race, but the Pro Division, always a lot of fun as well. And if you can't get enough ECL action, you can join us right back here tomorrow at 1945 CEST as we have 2 of our Pro Division series. As Unique will be going up against Golden Sticks, and HC Lugano Esports will be heading off against Pirates Esports. Our coverage will start at 1945 CEST. I'll be right back with you on the call for it live on twitch.tv/SportsGamerGG. You can also find us live on X at SportsGamerGG or on our YouTube at SportsGamerGG as well. So we'll bring you back into the studio for the last time. A big thank you to everyone for tuning in. Once again, a big shout out and thank you to our sponsors, COVID Unlockability, Game Changer, and WellNet for their amazing support. A big thank you to the SportsGamer GG staff and our producer, Chris Ryan, doing everything behind the scenes to make this broadcast possible. For everyone at SportsGamer, my name is B Major. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys right back here tomorrow for Pro Series action. Thanks for tuning in and have a great night.
Welcome to the SportsGamer Health and Performance Program. Nice to have you here. Here you have a large amount of different workouts from WellNet, but also material just exclusive for you gamers. In your sessions, we focus mostly on neck and shoulder mobility, back health, and concentration. So give it a try and let us know what you think about it.